Start for Trice. That's Chase, and what a start for Cincinnati. And he has the football. Puts a move on. Bijan Robinson, he's going to have his first NFL touchdown. Gibbs out of the backfield right away. Oh, yeah, there's no question that he was grabbed. They got ridiculous. They got Gibbs one-on-one with Andrew Van Ginkel in space, and that was it.
And this is, again, it's man-to-man. It's one-on-one, and he's underneath. He loses his balance. Block Bowers is one of those guys that has a huge... And this is...
Welcome into another edition of the Fatboyz Dynasty Podcast presented by the Fantasy Holics. As you can see, I'm all alone today. Going to come at you with my guys. Bo came at you last week, talking about some guys that he's looking at, making sure he's not leaving his fantasy drafts without. Go back, check out last week's episode with him. This week, I'm going to talk about a few names that I'm not leaving my drafts without. I'm actually looking to trade for a couple of these guys in dynasty leagues and startups. I'm definitely eyeballing some of these guys as well to add in, especially in some redraft leagues this year too. A lot of these guys are going to make an impact, and some of them may have been forgotten about, and they're being overlooked because maybe they moved offenses or they just didn't produce as well as most people thought they would last season. And I'm going to talk about one guy. He is higher up in the draft boards, but he is being overlooked a lot in dynasty leagues. And you can get him for fairly cheap, and you can get him pretty easily in dynasty. And that's Davante Adams. He went to the LA Rams. Cooper Kupp is gone, so those targets are vacated. He gets Matthew Stafford, which is an upgrade in my mind from Aaron Rodgers. And he is still he is 32 years old. He is the number 2 in that offense to Puka Nacua. But he's developing that relationship with Stafford. He's going into an offense with Sean McVay, who has proven time and time again that he can get his wide receivers open in space, an upgraded offensive line from the Jets there, and an upgraded quarterback. And last year, at the end of the year, Davante Adams proved that he can definitely still put fantasy points up as he finished as wide receiver 18-7 in the last 6 weeks. 18-7, 1-13-47. He did struggle that week, and wide receiver 9, averaging over 20 fantasy points per game in those last 6 weeks. What's going on? Thanks for joining in and tuning in to the show. I appreciate the watch. I appreciate the view. Thank you for joining. My next one I'm going to go with 2 receivers here and then a running back that a lot of people are still sleeping on. The next one I'm talking about, I don't have a lot to say about him because he didn't really produce the way he should have in his rookie year. That Bears offense struggled. That's Rome Odunze. He was top 15 in air yards last year with a busted up offensive line, a coaching staff that really couldn't get anything going. Caleb Williams under distress every time he snapped the ball. I mean, we did see some atrocious games from the Bears last year and everything else. So I think Rome Odunze could possibly be the best receiver this year on that team. We've seen some issues with DJ Moore with the off-field being a little drama. I think that's getting squashed. I think he's been out there with them. But I still think that Rome Odunze could end up being the guy. They get an upgrade with Ben Johnson at the coaching staff. They get upgraded offensive line. They're going to give time to Caleb Williams. This is an offense that you could see explode. Rome could end up in the top 10, 15 wide receivers this year. He's going as the wide receiver 34 in most redrafts and startup leagues, maybe a little higher in the startup leagues. But Rome Odunze could easily find his way as being the best target in this offense moving forward. Like I said, he was top 15 in air yards. This offense is going to air the ball out. They have to hang points against some of these teams. You see them play Minnesota twice, Green Bay twice, Detroit twice. These teams hang points. So Chicago has to keep up with this. The wide receivers are going to be very, very valued there. And I think Rome Odunze could be that guy. My last one I know short, sweet episode tonight. A lot of things on the plate at home, finishing up a few things on the home front. So I wanted to make sure I still came at you and got something out to you. I appreciate that, Jamie, for joining in. Yes, always got to eat and dominate these fantasy leagues. And hopefully we're here to help you. I know we're ready to get back together. Home life has been a little struggle getting our times together, but we are going to be back at you, getting back with our rankings. And the Fatboyz, me and Bo, have been keeping up with each other and making sure we're getting our rankings ready to start dominating, getting out. It is draft season, guys. It's here. Fantasy football draft season, redraft, dynasty startups, rookie drafts are still going. I know we have our home league here still. We're a month away from our home league rookie draft. So I'm extremely excited for this month. July really kicks it off. My home life starts to slow down here with all my kids and their sports, and I really start picking up the fantasy football landscape here, and it's that time. And I want to make sure I touch base on this last guy. This guy, he finished as running back 30 last year, and he's going as running back 41, and that's Javonte Williams in Dallas. Dallas likes to run the ball. They do still like to use the running backs there. They added aging Miles Sanders, who got beat out by Chuba Hubbard, can't stay healthy. And then they did draft Blue later in the draft. All Williams has to do is beat out those two guys, and I think he could definitely produce this year behind that offensive line there in Dallas with Dak catching the balls out of the backfield. He's 2 years removed from a devastating knee injury, and we forget about how dominant this guy really was his rookie year coming out as he finished as running back 17. Sorry, got to talk about wide receivers, can't get them off my mind. Williams was running back 17 his rookie year. He's finished inside the top 30 of running backs in 3 out of 4 years, minus that 1 year where he got banged up and had that severe knee injury. And he's had 50 plus receptions in every single year, except for the one where he hurt. So this is a guy. And I do think that he is landing in a new spot. 1 year prove it deal, 2 years removed from that injury. He is in a great, great opportunity to really move on and help out that Dallas offense and become their clear-cut running back one. And like I said, a 1 year deal. Maybe he's trying to prove it to stay there in Dallas. Maybe he's trying to prove it to maybe get another long-term contract with another team. So I think he's really going to be hitting the ground running with the Cowboys. And I do think he finishes as their running back one. And I do think that we're going to see him produce inside the top 24, and you can get him all the way down as running back 41, and he still can produce as a top 24 running back. And you can get him later in drafts in case you want to, pass on the running back a little bit. Javonte Williams is a guy that I'm definitely targeting in all my drafts, and he's still only 25 years old, so I'm definitely targeting him in my dynasty leagues as well. That's all I really have for you guys today. These are just 3 guys that I have to show out that I'm really looking at. I've made some offers out there for them. I actually acquired Ramsey late, so I didn't have to in our home dynasty league. I'm going to be looking to acquire Devontae Adams for fairly cheap on draft night here when we get into ours. And Javonte Williams is a guy that I really believe in. I have believed in him since he came out of North Carolina, and I think this change of scenery, getting over there to Dallas, will definitely help him out. Jennifer, once again, I don't want to forget about you. I appreciate you joining me while I'm live here. I appreciate that. I appreciate both you guys joining in. And as always, stay hungry and stay fat, my friends.